Question number 8. A newspaper headline states, only 80% of teenagers think Winston Churchill was a real person. Show that the ratio of the number of teenagers who think Winston Churchill was a real person to those who do not is 4 to 1. Now in the question we're given a statement here, 80% of teenagers think Winston Churchill was a real person. So those who think he was real, the other option is not real. So teenagers who didn't think he was real. So if 80% think that he is real, that must leave the other 20% that think that he's not real. So we can simplify that down to 80 to 20. We can simplify that further from 8 to 2. And if we divide by 2 again, we can simplify that to 4 to 1. So what we've done there is we've shown that the ratio of number of teenagers who think Winston Churchill was a real person, those who do not, is 4 to 1. Now in 8 part B, as Hannah claims, GCSE history students are more likely than other teenagers to know that Winston Churchill was a real person. Design a data collection sheet for Hannah to investigate her claim. Now it asks us specifically for a data collection sheet, not a questionnaire. If it was a questionnaire, we'd simply be asking the question, are you a history student or not? And we'd have a tick box for that question, followed by another question saying, do you know that Winston Churchill, do you think he was a real person or a false person, or something that's not real? Because they say a data collection sheet, that's a sheet that we would use to collect information from people verbally. So we need to have a box that we can record whether people thought that Winston Churchill was real or not, and that whether the student was a history student or not. So on the vertical section we'd have the statement, do you think Winston Churchill, and we're saying there, was either real or not real. So when we ask somebody a question, we'd either put them in the first row for real or for not real, for do you think Winston Churchill is real or not real. And we also then need to see if they're a history student, so it would be, are you a student of history or not history? So when we asked a student, if they were a history student and they said they thought Winston Churchill was real, you could put your tally mark in here. If they said history and not real, it would go in this box. And the same thing for if a student was not a history student, it would go in here for real and here for not real. So you could use this sheet many times for asking many different students. Now for 8 part C, the question says the ratio of GCSE history students who think Winston Churchill was a real person to those who do not is 17 to 3. Is Hannah's claim true? And show how you decide. Well, from the first part of the question, we looked at just teenagers. So for teenagers, we found that it was 4 to 1. So real to not real was 4 to 1. Now that ratio 4 to 1, we're given it for history students. We know that it's real to not real is 17 to 3. So that means that for every 3 students that believe it's not real, 17 believe that it's real. So we can double this ratio 4 to 1 to say for every 8 students who think it's real, 2 students think it's not real. And the same again for every 12 students who think it's real, 3 think it's not real. We've now got 2 similar ratios that we can compare. So we can say here that is Hannah's claim true? Okay. Hannah's claim is true that more history students do believe is real. Okay, because 17 for every 3, 12 against every 3.